Good evening and welcome to the Boom Market Stock Show. This is your host Rian Hobson, and actually, it's quite an eventful day with the US GDP numbers that came out. That was actually contracting in the first quarter of 1.3% or 1.4%, but actually nothing happened with actually the dollar. Look, the dollar is steamrolling actually. Any currency that come in its path, which is the euro, the British pound, the Japanese yen, the US dollar is really performing actually exceptionally well, even though we had bad news out of the United States. And I actually was actually predicting that this morning that we will get bad news out of the United States, but the dollar will actually go up. But it didn't go up as in yet, like far up where it was, but it's still idling there. And then on the other side, we have also the EU is actually working on an embargo, on an oil embargo against Russia. Now, Germany came to the party also today to say that actually they're gonna actually be with an oil embargo against the Russians. Now, the show of today is actually, can we sell oil now? There is factors, but then also we have this factor where Germany actually also now is working with the other EU partners to go actually on an oil embargo against Russia. Now, certain banks in America, I think it was Goldman Sachs and other banks were also warning the world that if the EU goes on a full-scale oil embargo, oil will see actually $180 a barrel. Now, there's no official date as in yet, but they're still thinking about it. But look, once Germany is coming to the party, then it looks like it's official that there will be an oil embargo. That was also the other news. On the other side, the OPEC members, that is now the big oil producing countries, these guys are actually now increasing their oil production, which they agreed, which was actually the agreement. So they actually increased it with 432 barrels per day, which that is a good sign for us because oil prices might come down. That's might come down. Now, the last thing actually, but not least, is Germany's inflation. German inflation is up by 7.8%. And it looks like there is no stop in this inflation because as it seems that the Germans are actually now also partaking in this oil embargo against Russia. But this is actually the other stories that actually came out for today. I'm just actually going to share my screen with you. Just one moment. There we go. Now, this was the news of today, where Germany says it is ready to buy is ready to stop buying Russian oil. So that was actually the big news of today, and that's why the oil price was starting to going back up again after it was down, and that was all the pressure of the US dollar. Now, the US dollar was pushing some severe pressure on commodities, especially gold, oil, and other commodities. But when this news break out, that is where the oil prices actually started to go back up again. Now, the whole thing of today is, can you sell oil prices or can you sell crude oil? Because once crude oil drops, that means that you will have a strong dollar. That means you will have weak commodities. That means that the gold price will go down. But can we actually sell oil, or will oil price go down? Now, normally in normal fundamentals, oil prices normally do go down this time of the year because it's actually becoming warmer in the northern hemisphere. So there's less demand for oil, and then oil price come down. That is one point. The other point comes in. We have the lockdown in China, and that also slowed down demand for oil that is now out of China, and that also helped globally. So that brings oil prices down. Also, we have the US economy that's contracting. And when you have a slower US economy, it means that global oil prices or global commodity prices actually come down. So those are the three things that I actually were looking at. So you have the US economy that is slowing down. You have you have China that is actually under lockdown, or some parts of the country is under lockdown. And then you have actually the seasonal behaviors of commodities where it comes down this time of the year because it is summer in the northern hemisphere. So those are the three factors that I was looking at that can actually bring oil prices down. Then there's another point, actually the US freight industry. The US freight industry, that is the thing that I was talking yesterday on my radio show early in the morning at 10 o'clock, where the Bank of America was warning that the freight industry is actually facing a recession because there is a slowdown in freight. So the truckloads and all of those things, shippings, that is coming down, and that is all to do with high inflation and a slowdown, not just in the US economy, but globally. So we have a global slowdown in demand. You have basically, as I said, you have OPEC that is pumping oil out. You have the summer seasons that comes in also with oil. So will oil price go down? Because if you look at the oil price itself, it sits there actually on that 50-day EMA, but it doesn't go down. If you look at the 4-hour, the 4-hour chart, it sits there, the 50-day EMA, and it doesn't go further. It comes down and then it moves back up, comes down, going back up. So that is the big question mark. Can you sell oil? The only thing that is standing in the way is actually the Europeans. If the Europeans go on a full-scale oil embargo against Russia, and they give this official date, in fact, they don't even have to give an official date, but let's say they give an official date, let's say the end of this year, they will go not using Russian oil anymore, and maybe they will get the oil somewhere else. I'm sure they're negotiating now. That will push oil prices definitely up. So the thing is, there is actually a possibility where oil prices can go down, but also you have the EU that wants to go on an oil embargo. I'm still on selling oil, but with that news that came through, where the Germans is actually partnering with the other EU members to not buy Russian oil, that actually put my whole theory actually in a big question mark. So in that instance, I will just rather sit on the fence and wait for the Germans, or I would say the EU members, to make a decision regarding the oil embargo on Russia. And that is where I will decide, will I buy oil or sell oil. So, but for now, we have to wait on when they will do it. But my theory was the fact that it is summer, strong US dollar, OPEC is pumping oil, the economy is going into recession, that is the US. Inflation is literally killing demand. So I was thinking oil prices will go down, but due to that news that came through, where the EU is literally going on an embargo, I couldn't change the show, but it's just putting that big question mark: can I still sell oil? Which I doubt now I can sell oil. Well, that is the fundamental aspect of oil, so I'm not sure there. So all the best with trading for tomorrow. It is Friday, and normally Fridays are a bit jumpy in the market, so please be very careful. I actually didn't do any trading today. That is all to do with with the GDP news that came out of the United States. There was a big question mark regarding that. So I didn't do any trades. Tomorrow, I'm not sure either. I will definitely do nothing. I would rather wait until next week. That is where the Federal Reserve will release their statement and also make a decision on the interest rate decision. So have a lovely long weekend, South Africa, and then I will see you guys next week, Tuesday. Bye-bye.